Hi guys, welcome to another video on the JB
Hey
and Millie channel, and today we are bringing you another episode of the 5-Star Talk podcast. Now we do apologise that we've not had an episode for a while, but we are back now and we are bringing you a really exciting episode. So, as most of you will know, the most recent Nintendo update for Animal Crossing was released recently, and with it came the arrival of 6 new villagers, the Sanrio Amiibos that could be scanned into the game, giving us access to a whole load of amazing things. Now, later on in this podcast, we are going to touch upon how things have been a little bit more complicated here in the UK than perhaps in the US and some of the kind of downsides of that. However, we would firstly just like to talk a little bit about this update and kind of what comes with it, what's our favourite parts, favourite villagers, all that kind of thing. So, JB?
Yeah, I guess also we know that the scene was absolutely crazy over in the US. So many controversies around how Target dealt with the pre-orders, I believe. So if you do have any more information about that or any stories that you want to share in the comment section, please do. But I guess we were fortunate enough to be able to invite these villagers. We couldn't have done it without the help of Amy Games, so huge thanks to them. But wow, I am really impressed with this update because for all it's a bit, I don't know, there's a bit of grey area where I'm like, I understand why Nintendo have almost done, pseudo paid DLC, but at the same time, I enjoy this a lot because I think for every single different set, there's a different thing that you can do with it.
So I feel like it's important to say that, like JB said there, this is a pseudo paid DLC. So this is available for if you have the Amiibo cards, you can scan them in, you will get access to the new villagers and the items associated with them. There tends to be, I believe, are in the region of maybe 8 to 10 items per villager, and that includes posters and things. So that's quite exciting. Now, for those that aren't able to get those cards, you can't order those items, but you can still get them gifted. So despite this kind of being pseudo paid DLC, even if you don't have those Amiibos, unlike paid DLC, you will still get some benefit
that's
from them.
The interesting part. Do you agree with that in terms of not that you have to pay to get it, but more from an angle of if you don't pay to get it, you can't have a friend have the cards and pick up, say, Rilla in boxes, or you can't just pick up a My Melody bed and be able to order My Melody bed. Because on one hand, when I first heard about that, I wasn't impressed with Nintendo at all. I thought that they were just trying to put more money in their pockets, trying to capitalise on this, and then not even to bother to print that many of the cards. But at the same time, I understand what some people would do. Like if there's scalpers in the real world that buy 28 packs of cards, 100 packs of cards and sells them for triple the price, maybe Nintendo are avoiding a situation of someone that isn't working for the company, someone that's outside going, okay, I have Marty in boxes, anyone can pick it up, whoever pays, £50, $60.
See, I guess in terms of the scalpers and that kind of thing and the amount printed, I think that's going to come maybe with a slight rant towards the end of the video. But for now, like we said, focusing on some positive things, I can see some positive elements to what you were just saying there, JB. In that, it could kind of benefit the community. So, when Animal Crossing first came out, there was the group of friends. For example, if we think of our group of friends, the coalition, it was, I've got this variant in Nooks today, you've got that variant, how about we send it to each other, make a trade kind of thing. And then when you've completed everything, which a lot of people are doing now, we've passed that year anniversary, they've got kind of all the variants, this could encourage some level of trading within the community again, which could be really good. Like, okay, so you didn't manage to get your hands on the Sanrio cards, I did, so how about, I send you a Hello Kitty bed, you give me 5 Nook Mile tickets. That could be nice. However, like you said, it then becomes an issue when it kind of leaves the game a bit and it's like you said, transfer me this amount of money for this villager in boxes. We did see this was the case when Animal Crossing New Horizons first came out, when there was characters, is it like Marshall that doesn't have an Amiibo card, I think
you've got your Raymond, I think Marshall, Judy, people like that.
And people like, oh, I can get these in boxes, transfer me $20 or something, and it's like, I can see it. I think enough if it's just in-game stuff. Like, I'm happy to trade as much as the next person. I mean, only a few days ago we were trading on Twitter to get star fragments and things. That's fine. I don't mind the in-game stuff. I just think that when it comes to financial kind of gain, it kind of takes the joy out of the Animal Crossing community. Like you're saying, if people buy up all the packs so they can sell it on for more money, so they can use them to their advantage, kind of thing, externally, it does take away from the really nice community. But like I said, it could encourage some kind of community activity, which would be nice.
Yeah, 100%, especially if people have like the free will to ask friends that do have them, you know, can I have 5? It might take a while, but if it's people working together, then, you know, who knows, next time something rolls around, maybe the other person can get hold of something. And it will kind of work that way, where it's just a community supporting each other.
Do you know, I would personally like to just take this opportunity to say that I've only had positive kind of associations with the community after these cards have been released. So for example, I feel like it's boosted some of our like contacts. So for example, you know, as JB said at the start of the video, we've been in touch with, for example, Amy Games. We've been, you know, making sure that we both have a lot of items there.
Yeah, we had Stilo and Cree, we had Le Cozan over. It was awesome, and I'm currently working on sending out all of the posters, some furniture.
Indeed.
So it's good.
Even to the point where we arranged a trade with someone on Twitter. We'd never really spoken to them before, and just because they didn't think that we'd have been able to get the update, they dropped us the bridge that you get in Toby, I believe.
Yeah, the Karupi.
Yeah, so just because they didn't know that we'd have had access to it, just as an addition to the trade, they just dropped that off. And I do think, so to that end, I've only seen positive things come from the community with this update.
I mean, I've just had an idea, and it goes against a lot of what I normally say. In fact, it's the most un-JB thing I'm probably ever going to say. But this is an idea that stems from the fact that we've recently been getting into Pokemon card collecting, Vivid Voltage. Now, in the back of every pack, there's a code that you type in online to get online packs. So I'm almost thinking, could Nintendo launch an app for the eShop that not only allows them to make money, but allows everyone to get the same type of Animal Crossing experience, albeit by a paywall, where you can buy online packs of Amiibo. Now, I personally hate just paying for digital things that I can't physically have in my hands and hold. Like, I really don't like buying just digital games, to the point where I'd pay more to get a physical copy. But I've been told many times that that's a very dinosaur approach to things. Do you think the community that more or less seem to prefer digital releases would actually pay maybe $3-4, same price as an Amiibo pack, for an online pack, say of Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, the RV card, Sanrio, that never goes out of stock, but it just presents online packs to you?
Okay, well, I do think there's a few angles to what you're saying there. You know, for people do like digital games and all that kind of thing, but I also think that it's important to consider that collecting of, for example, Pokemon trading cards is nearly at its all-time high. And so to that end, I think Animal Crossing's way of jumping on the bandwagon with that is collecting Amiibo cards. You know, they've recently reprinted all the series of the Amiibo cards in both the US, Europe, and so I guess it's just trying to boost card collecting maybe there. Maybe not so much the trading element, because you do get all 6 in one pack, but I guess it's just about, like I said, the Amiibos have a lot of functionality here.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely, like, just on the eShop, especially if you can use the My Nintendo Rewards things to get some money off, I would pay £3 or £4 for a digital Sanrio pack if it meant that if we go into the kind of Nook ATM, it says, do you want to activate this Sanrio pack? Yes. Who do you want to invite? Rilla. And then it just takes you to the normal inviting Islander screen.
The difficulty there is you are then only classifying that as DLC. That is DLC. You access it through the Nintendo shop. It adds some new gameplay. Whereas this, you almost don't feel like it's DLC. You feel like it's a physical kind of property, because you can scan them into this game. And, to be fair, you know, these kind of Amiibo cards date back to the 3DS, is it?
New Leaf, maybe?
So, you can transfer them across consoles. If you get DLC, you're not going to be able to transfer that across consoles. So who knows, like, whatever the next system is that Nintendo releases, the Amiibo cards might be compatible with it, but a DLC code wouldn't be. Also, on that matter, your friends could then scan in the Amiibo cards after you. If you'd only paid for the DLC code, that wouldn't be the case. Like, I guess what you were saying about digital games is fine, because, you know, you'd need to keep the cartridge anyway, whereas these are just like one scan and you're done kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that, but then there's always the thing with like physical Amiibo cards. Like, you could say the same about a Rilla. All you need to do is scan in Rilla, and you've scanned in Rilla. But it's like, why collect any Amiibo cards? It's to choose that they can ask to move away. Maybe you can Dreamy Hunt. Maybe you can find someone else, or maybe Nintendo even adds in more collaboration villages that you want to try out. But you've also got the option to have Chai as long as you want, or Marty as long as you want.
Yeah, you did mention they're more collaborative villages. Like, can you think of any that you'd like to see?
I know that, and I think I know, that in the old games they actually did some Zelda ones. But I don't know, because the thing is, my angle with this is, if you look at this update and the last update, we've had a Super Mario collaboration and now a Sanrio collaboration coming more prominent. So I don't know, I think that we are in a bit of a trend where Nintendo are showing a willingness to work with maybe not other companies necessarily, because I know the Sanrio one was a while ago. This is just a restock. But they could show more willingness to work with other intellectual properties. Like, I'd love to see a Pokemon one. I think that would be amazing. But no, I guess my thing about this, I would like someone in the comment section to let me know if that's a stupid idea or not. Someone that maybe does favour digital games versus physical games, and they might speculate if there is some value to online packs, if that's even a thing. But I don't know, I wouldn't prefer that. I would rather Nintendo would print off the right amount of Sanrio cards to meet demand. But if they can't do that, then an option would be to do that. You know what I mean? It's no expense to them to have the data on the eShop. It's all profit to them.
And like you're saying, it's about printing the right amount. And again, that's something that's going to kind of be quite prominent towards the end of the video. But for now, let's just take a little look at the Sanrio update itself. So JB, what do you think to the villagers?
So we did a tier list. That will be on our channel. Now, I think there are some spectacular villagers, especially... Who is it? Is
a Toil.
A Toil?
The one that's the cute sheep that you said was really needed to kind of spruce up that kind of species.
And Chai, the elephant with tea on their head.
That reminds you of Tia, yeah.
I just really like them. I feel that they're not so above the other villagers just because they're a collaboration that it's like, well, what, since we've got these, this is like the de facto elephant or the de facto sheep. But it is definitely greater options, and I just adore them so much because they're so cute.
I think the only one I don't like is Rilla. I don't know, because I think Hello Kitty was the only one that I'd heard of. I was hoping that was going to be the one that had the best kind of look. They could have done like a white cat village or something like that, like Whitney, I believe it is. They would look really nice. I like the concept of having a gorilla and calling it Rilla. I just didn't think it needed to be for the Hello Kitty.
Yeah, gorillas have not got a good track record in game at all. The only one that I enjoy,
Boone.
and I mentioned this in the tier list, is Boone, because they remind me so much of Rafiki from The Lion King. I like them a lot. I don't think I've ever met them, but they're alright. Rilla is just kind of, yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Chelsea, though, to be honest. But I know you like Chelsea quite a lot.
Yeah, I think at least they've got something a little bit unique to them. Like JB said, we do have a tier list that's really worth checking out. But there are certainly some good ones there. Like you said, I think a toll was very much needed to boost the species. And yeah, just check out that video, guys, for more on that. But in terms of the furniture items, this is the first time that I guess we've really fully speculated on them. So are there any sets that you particularly like? Any items that you really like?
Honestly, all of them. Like, a Toil, they are like one of my favourite ones, the favourite islanders from the new collaboration pack. But they also have some of the best furniture, like especially for us that love to do 5-star island tours and 5-star talk podcast. They have a sofa, and 2 of the cushions are 2 stars, and then there's 3 stars in the back. Like, if we did the old 5-star talk, they would be
That's
all
where you
over
and the guest
studio.
would sit, right?
On the 5-star cushions, there's shooting star tables. There'd be 5 of them somewhere. Oh,
even the smoke machine comes as part of a toil set, and JB said that he thought that was...
That's my favourite of all time, because it's like the lunar gyroid, but also within some kind of like more great construct. It's my favourite Sanrio item ever.
And not only have items been added that are good to use in your house, like the ones that JB's just mentioned there with the toil and perhaps Rilla as well, there's also the items with other villagers such as Toby and what's the elephant called again?
That's Chai.
Yeah, Toby and Chai both have items that would be really good to use outside. So Toby's is very much a Zen garden theme. There's a bridge, there's some lanterns that look beautiful around the island. And also Chai, you know, very much a tea shop theme, kind of a bit Brewster vibes. And I guess to that end, a bit of a different question for you here, JB. We've talked about how they could add more characters in, collab with more people. Would you prefer they were collabing and bringing in new things like Zelda, or would you prefer they returned to their roots and brought back recurring things like Brewster?
See, here's the thing. I would like a curveball, albeit just a cosmetic one, because I feel that New Horizons gave in it's the Animal Crossing game for the new generation. It's almost a passing on the torch, and that's what I thought its whole, kind of motif was from the beginning. There's Tom Nook as the leader, but eventually they'll pass on some of their duties to Isabelle. The Nooklings, who are the 2 kind of young people, are working in the shop. No more is there Chip or Nat, but we've got CJ and Flick. And this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I would quite like to see
Brewster's grandson.
Maybe Brewster's grandson, or maybe not Brewster, because I know people really do want Brewster, so it'd be a bit of a kind of slap in the face to the community to just have, here's like a young Brewster, but someone that was in the old games brought back as like a kind of a legacy character, because even is it Daisy May took over from Joan?
Yes.
And I'd just like to see more of that.
He could almost have Brewster return, say, once a month to monitor his grandson who's running what Brewster did before. You still see him, but not so prominent.
That would be awesome. Could you imagine that? And there was like a mini game every month where you on a random day you wake up and this little kind of pigeon things fluttering around, oh my gosh, Grandpa Brewster's coming today. He's coming to inspect the coffee shop. Please, please, please. I've left the place a mess. Can you help me clean up? Can you find these for me? Sweet. And then you get to just see Brewster being all impressed at I don't know. I just think those types of little mini games, that type of extra character would go a long way. I think that would be great. I like that. And I also want a more fossil-based NPC. I want an Indiana Jones type character that does something different with fossils, like fossil statues, fossil sculptures.
And I guess that's an episode for another day, because I'm going to bring you back to kind of the Sanrio thing here. If for whatever reason you could only have access to one of the Amiibo cards, that's the villager themselves and the furniture set, who is it going to be? I feel like I know, but just to confirm it. And please comment yours down below. If you could only use one of the Amiibo cards on New Horizons, which one would it be you chose to scan in?
See, that's the thing. For all I love Itoil and their thing, I'm just trying to think about the others. So Chai comes with all the kind of coffee things. Marty comes with all the bottom furniture.
I love how you said bottom then. You really curled your lips with that B. You were like,
the
bottom furniture.
The bottom furniture. But, and that's amusing. But honestly, oh my gosh.
You're gonna say Rilla. Don't say Rilla.
I'm gonna say Rilla because I love the Hello Kitty thing so much. If I could decorate a garden full of those kind of Hello Kitty topiary things, that would be fantastic. You don't want the Hello Kitty table? You don't want the Hello Kitty chair?
No.
It's nice. It's good. I love the Hello Kitty things. I'd also... Wait, no. Stop. Who is the one that is a DJ and their poster is them with DJ KK?
Is it Kiki and Layla?
Oh, that's... Then also I love the Toby things because it's Zen Gardener. Oh, I don't know.
I don't think your opinion matters after you've said Rilla, to be quite honest.
No, Etoile for 5 star. Etoile for 5 star. Etoile for 5 star.
Thank you. That's who I was thinking.
Really?
Yeah. Comment yours down below, guys.
What other items are there? What does Chelsea come with? Because I feel like Chelsea comes with great items, but I don't really like.
No, I feel like theirs is just quite girly. It just isn't an expansion on the cute furniture, if I'm thinking properly.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We don't really have them in front of us, but I don't know. It would be interesting to see what the community thinks, because I know that Marty has become beloved across the community. Not just
they're so cute,
for
and
the
furniture,
but
bottom furniture.
Just them. And I just... when I saw how popular Marty had become...
You felt a bit bad to what you did with them in the tier list.
I don't remember where they are, but they're definitely not Esther. I can say that. And it's painful. I don't like it.
You did that.
I don't like it.
It was you.
No, it was you.
Because I like them.
I like them. But I just feel that in a game of cute bear cubs, they're just another really cute bear cub. They're not like the bear cub that saves that species. It's just, oh wow, there's not one single bad bear cub. Versus, Etoile that came in, and it's like, wow, now there's like 2-3 really good sheep, and there weren't that many before. That's my thing.
Okay, so again, progressing this on a little bit, if that's okay with you, JB. I'm going to move on to the kind of subject that's been looming in the background, like we've touched on it a little bit, but I think there's a lot more to be said, and that is the Amiibo cards themselves. So for all we've, sat here for a good 20 minutes now and told you some things that we actually really like about this update, so I think we're trying to be fair. For us, the big issue is the printing of these Amiibo cards. Now, in my personal opinion, Nintendo rushed this update purely to get something out for the anniversary because the Amiibo cards weren't ready. So I believe they came out in the US 2 days ago and you could only get them in Walmart, and there's been a big supply issue with that, people just bulk buying them to sell on, which I've seen far too much of.
It's Target.
And then that's the US's situation. They haven't been reprinted in Europe yet, so people can't actually get their hands on these RV cards. Luckily, like JB said, we've been able to invite them and things given the amazing community, but the cards themselves we are struggling to get a permanent copy of.
I mean, here's the thing. I haven't really spoken out about anything to do with Nintendo. In fact, I don't even think I've ever spoken out about Nintendo. I think last time it was more Game Freak than anything with the Pokemon and the COVID situation, which was unacceptable, but they did do quite a bit to rectify that. But I feel that there is a real problem with Nintendo kind of leaving out the UK, leaving out Europe. Now, we heard from TJ Burns that there's even some issues with not a lot of Pokemon card allocations being dedicated to the UK, and I don't know why, because you'd think they could, if you want to pay for international shipping you can, but there's so many times that there's some things that have been announced for the US only that it's like, what? Like,
yeah, and what makes it even more difficult about, JB said, like, you can get international shipping, but then they insist on printing things differently for the UK. So, for example, the Amiibo cards. The UK have to have a different variant. Ours has 4 names on it, whereas the US ones only have 2 at the side. So it's kind of like, okay then, well, these are US ones, but we've kind of got them. And then they kind of lower ranking in terms of trading, because America do have so many more things printed than we do in the UK. And so that becomes a problem in itself. Like we were saying, I personally don't think this update should have been released until the cards were accessible, because it's kind of like they've given us a whole load of data, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And even just with the Amiibo cards in general, even when they're in stock, even when times are good, we only get like 3 cards. America gets 6, 8 cards. And that's confusing in itself. And I guess as content creators, it feels like we're at a constant disadvantage. That, you know, being kind of a relatively small channel that wants to grow, if we're hindered from making unpacking videos about them, from getting, you know, Amiibo showcases, instead of getting the furniture showcase instantly, it's like, oh, well, we're just kind of waiting here. Well, like, the American content creators are kind of reaping all the benefits of that. But it's just so consumer unfriendly. I don't understand why they would do it. Now, we've heard some conflicting reports. We had a comment on a recent video saying that they checked the Nintendo UK website and they actually managed to get hold of some. They ordered it, they can't wait for them to arrive because they stayed up beyond midnight and even a bit of the morning. But I feel that we did the same thing and we didn't see them. And that's the only incident, not that they've lied, but that's the only incident that I've heard of people finding them in the UK. Other than that, on Twitter, someone actually emailed the Nintendo help team. I guess allegedly, you know, I don't know. I don't know why they'd fake it. I don't think they would, but this is what's on Twitter. And the Nintendo response team came back to them saying, you know, sorry, but due to unforeseen circumstances, these have hindered, you know, supply and delivery, so we can't, as of now, confirm when the Amiibo cards will be back in stock.
So do you know what? This is one thing that I don't like about Nintendo support at all, is they are so caged with things. Like, you know, like JB said, that they can't give us an exact date of when we're going to get the Sanrio cards, even though they're pretty sure in them and they'll know when it is. Similarly, you know, like, just before Christmas, JB emailed them, like, you know, I want to get an Animal Crossing Switch. Do you know when they're going to be back in stock? And they were like, oh, we have no intention to restock them. They were like the exact words to JB, no intent to restock. So he managed to get one from somebody else. And 3 days later, I think it was, they came back into stock. So they are so cagey with what they're going to release, when they're going to release it. And there is just a complete lack of communication, and to that end it almost invalidates this update. Like I said, we're lucky that because we do have people in the community such as Amy Games, we've had and Lakozana and Stilo and Cree, we have got access to I think all the items now in the villages as well, but still, like, there is a huge underlying issue with this.
I would feel terrible if we'd managed to be one of the only people that got hold of them and we just made a podcast saying, hey, isn't this great? Because we acknowledge that we're very lucky, and so that's why we want to make a video kind of to get it out there that it isn't necessarily an acceptable thing in America to underprint, and here to completely leave it out. That, I don't know, that isn't right.
Do you know what? And this is what makes it, like, I think a little bit worse, is that this is, oh, this sounds bad, this is all they could piece together for the 1 year anniversary update, and even then they can't make it work.
I don't really have a problem with that, because I feel that maybe at this stage, maybe they could at this stage, but I just feel that Nintendo initially had no idea that the game would be as successful as it was.
No.
It was the right game at the right time with the right content, the right type of...
But even then they've had a year to catch up to that.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know how it affected things over there, because I know that when all the, you know, COVID-19 stuff happened, Japan was completely unprepared in that, you know, a lot of the people weren't used to working from home. They weren't used to remote learning or remote working or anything like that. It was and especially when things can be leaked so readily, I think Nintendo were very concerned at the start about, you know, letting employees leave home, you know, with confidential information.
Yeah.
So I guess I can understand that, but in terms of printing the cards, it's like, I don't think that they should have hyped it up, let alone released all the data into the game, unless they knew for a fact that it would be readily available for people that were, you know, willing to pay the retail price.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I just think it's absolutely horrendous that the cards aren't available. Because, like you said, you know, you just can't get full use out of the update, which is just... It's almost going to have expired before everyone else has use for it, because I think... Okay, so... Nintendo tend to do monthly updates around the 26th of the month. So that means we're probably looking at a new update in perhaps 3 weeks. Probably they aren't going to have sorted this issue out within 3 weeks. So it's kind of like the update's expired before everyone else gets access to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it could be that they restock it, tomorrow, and this podcast is meant to come out, in which case we're just talking
moaning about nothing.
And best case scenario, that's what happens. Worst case scenario, what we're saying is still relevant, because that's the thing. It isn't a good, thing. And I wrote Nintexit on the kind of thumbnail and the visual, just as kind of like a joke, just because a lot of people like doing that nowadays. With Brexit and Megxit. There's all talks of exits from the UK, but it is so true, And the simplest things, that there's no reason why they can't print here, why they can't ship here. Like, when 3D All-Stars came out, they offered Mario Galaxy, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine posters for the US and not the UK. And it's like, it's a poster.
Okay, yeah.
Print it on a bit of paper, sell it. Like, I don't know, why
Carrying
not?
on from that.
Why not?
For our anniversary this year, JB got me a Isabelle and Tom Nook cushion. They're amazing. We did some unboxings on the channel, but more on that. They were only made available on the Nintendo US store, so JB had to get them brought in, which just seems ridiculous. On one of the last videos that we did complaining about Nintendo, it was about the Zarude code, I believe, JB. Yeah. And in America, you could get that on a newsletter, but in the UK, you had to physically go into a store, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
and that was ridiculous.
And I believe at the time the UK lockdown restrictions were so much more than America's. I believe our cases were a lot higher at the time, things like that, so it didn't make any sense for it to be that way around. Just Nintendo.
But me ranting about Nintendo is a rarity. In fact, it'll probably never happen on the channel again unless they completely mess up, because I am full on a Nintendo fanboy. Like, I love, say, Mario Galaxy, like I've said so much. I didn't have a problem with paying full price to get 3 of them. In fact, if they announced tomorrow that because 3D All-Stars is going to be off the eShop, they were selling Mario Galaxy full price again, except it came with a Mario Galaxy booklet inside, I'd probably pre-order it. Yeah. In fact, I'm sure I would pre-order it. Like, I don't have a problem giving money to Nintendo, but give everyone the opportunity to give money to you.
Yeah, like, make no mistake of this, within the next half an hour, JB's going to be on one Switch on Animal Crossing, I'm going to be on the other, I'm doing another playthrough of Pokemon Sword.
Yeah, we're going to go to bed cuddling KK Slider toys with Mario Amiibos around.
Yeah, in the Animal Crossing bedding, all that kind of thing. But, like, yeah, it's just annoying, to say the least.
I don't know, it's a trend that I can't see changing, because I think it's been an issue for a while. And I know that the trending topic would be to talk about the lack of printing in America and stuff, but it's like, I guess we don't really know what that's like, because, I don't know, like, I don't want to say we would like the opportunity to struggle on the internet to try and order these, like, if we don't wake up in time or if we're not there in time, then, hard luck. I don't want to say that, but at the same time, I think I'd do whatever I could to get them if they're available, but no one even knows what the struggle's like here because they don't have the chance. Although a part of me does kind of hope that they've seen that they didn't have enough stocked with like kind of the American store, so maybe they are just making sure that they've got enough until they release them there.
Or is it going to be that they work on producing more stock for America to tackle it kind of one place at a time?
Maybe. But then again, who knows what it's like? Because we don't know. They could be trying their absolute hardest. They could be working overtime. There could be workers, taking extra time to do it, and it's still not enough. Or they could just be doing nothing. But at this point,
Nintendo is not a small company. If they're struggling, they can get more staff.
Yeah, that's true. Because I was just going to say...
you've just had one of the best-selling... You've got the best-selling consoles in the world. You've got the best-selling games in the world. And don't sit there and say you can't afford more staff to get this out on time, because that is just bizarre. Like, this lockdown has done the world of good for Nintendo in terms of the amount of Switches sold, the amount of, like... the copies of Animal Crossing, I don't think a quarter of them would have been bought if it wasn't for the lockdown.
I would tend to agree, to be honest, but I always try and stay lenient with the COVID things because you don't know how much, you know, working from home and stuff affected how Nintendo had to pay their workers, how they had to, you know, affect profit margins, even to the negative, because they had planned a lot, like with the Olympics and everything, and Super Nintendo World getting delayed. But it is so true, like, if it was, you know, like with limited run games, we ordered Scott Pilgrim 2 months ago. I don't think we're going to get it for 4 or 5 months because it's a relatively small company and they make everything to order. It takes that long to get out, and I understand that. But you're right, Nintendo is a full-on massive corporation. There's a theme park, there's special shops in New York. Again, I've got an issue with the exclusive things that they keep there, but that's neither here nor there. They've got literally exclusive shops in all these kind of capital cities, and they have the best-selling consoles. Like, the Switch is insanely good right now. It's insanely successful. To the point where I think that was still the best-selling console in the week that the new Xbox and the new PlayStation released. And yet, there just seems to be an issue with this.
Strange.
It's like, there's a word for it, for like false scarcity, where they purposely underprint things to make things seem so much more in demand that the second it's in stock, people jump to get on it. That's why people had an issue with, say, the Game & Watch being limited time, 3D All-Stars being limited time, because when people hear that something's limited time, the second it's released, if they're like, oh, maybe I can get it later, maybe I'll save up, no, they're full on in there buying something.
And see, this is the thing, is when things like this become so limited, people then think, oh, I can make a profit off this, I can bulk buy and then sell them on, which is what people do. You know, we see it when the Amiibo cards last came into stock, is people would bulk buy them, then sell them on eBay because they'd be out of stock within a week, and then you can start getting £10 for a pack that costs £4 initially. And that, you know, gets quite tedious, when in reality, if Nintendo stopped and thought about this, they could be making that amount of money by printing more, instead of making, you know, the people that are like scraping packs up off the internet, you know, getting money in their pocket, when Nintendo could use that to fund things and do things in a better fashion.
I mean, I want to get your opinion on this. What is your opinion on the scalpers that buy up 50 packs and sell them for 8 times the retail? Because people are in two minds about this. One, you know, they're bad people, they're hooligans, they're nincompoops, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be doing this, they're fully in the wrong. But then there's other people that are saying, well, why do scalpers scalp? It's because
Nintendo enables it.
Well, no, but even if they spend £50, £80 on the same Amiibo card pack, they know that they're going to get a big profit from it. So, realistically, if people stopped buying from them, it would stop happening because there'd be no demand for it. So what's your kind of opinion on that? Because it's like, if you're going to pay 8 times the retail price, that's telling the scalper that it's worth doing what they're doing.
Well, see, this is the thing, and I think, actually, my opinion of it isn't summed up in either of the ones that you've offered. I think, do you know what, if you want to call them scalpers or whatever you call them, at the end of the day, it's almost entrepreneurial. Like, they know that stuff's in a limited supply. For all it might not be ethical, that it's almost like they're taking it away, they see it as a way of them making profit. And in fact, if I were to lay the blame at anyone's feet, it'd still be Nintendo, because if they made enough packs to go around everybody, then scalpers wouldn't be able to do what they're doing, because you wouldn't need to pay £9 for a pack. You could then go on the Nintendo UK website, pick them up for £4.99, and it's fine. But because Nintendo aren't printing enough of them, you know, scalpers are just, you know, picking up all that they can. If it were that they were printing more, they wouldn't be able to afford to buy every pack, so that people could then start picking them up for the price that they're meant to be bought at.
That's true. If Nintendo stocked properly, there'd be no need for scalpers in that type of, you know, scalping that product. But I would never go as far as calling them entrepreneurial or anything like that. I think it's just straight up wrong. Now, if it was something else, I could understand. But it's like, I don't know, I just feel that, even though Animal Crossing's for everyone, there's a lot of kind of young people, a lot of parents that will be looking to get these cards for their children.
Yeah.
And to kind of put too high of a price tag on that now, after a lot of people have been off work for the pandemic, they haven't been paid properly, they've been made redundant, they've had to quit, I think this is the wrong time to make this type of product in an inflated price.
I agree with you. Okay, like, I would much prefer people didn't pick them up off the Nintendo site, order 5 at a time, and let everybody buy them. I guess I just tend to offer the more controversial opinion, and that is that it could be seen as an entrepreneurial movement. They know they're going to make profit from it, so that's why they do it. If there wasn't a profit to be made, they wouldn't be interested in it, and it is purely because Nintendo don't print enough that they know there is a profit to be made in it. If Amiibo cards came back into stock next week, there's a profit to be made in it, because you know they've not printed anywhere near enough packs. You know they're going to go out of stock within the first 48 hours, so you know you can resell them online for a high profit. I have never done that, I would like to point out, but Nintendo enables it so that a lot of people can do that. If you printed countless amounts, you know, Scalpers wouldn't be able to purchase every single pack and have the control that they do. At the minute, they have the control that they do, and I think, you know, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I honestly believe in order to get these packs, I'm probably going to end up having to go on eBay to somebody who's already bought them and buy them off them, because at like double the rate or whatever, because Nintendo's site will go out of stock in minutes.
I get that 100%, 1,000,000%, in fact. But I'm just thinking that's our perspective, you know, as students with significant, you know, overheads, but kind of not as significant as paying regular bills, as supporting a family, as stuff like that. So we have the option to appease the scalpers if we wanted to, but it's just in this time of day, I don't feel like even a lot of people have the option to do that, which is a shame. But I guess the scalpers are just taking advantage of what Nintendo's, you know, shortcomings have been. So I understand that.
I mean, I'm going to say, regardless of if there's scalpers or not, like, online would sell out within hours. We're not talking days, we're not talking weeks, we're talking hours. Regardless of who picks them up, because there just isn't enough. I don't think it's necessarily the scalpers that cause the supply and demand issue. Granted, they don't help it, but they still would be out of stock in hours because there's still too few.
But it's kind of making my opinion different. Like, I'd never ever have, you know, put my seal of approval on third-party Nintendo products, like doing the Amiibo card trick or anything like that. Never, ever, ever. But it's like, for the UK, what option
else
do we have? Like, to me, that's entrepreneurial. Like, you know, doing that and, you know, giving it to people, not for like £50 or £20, but for a short amount. I've seen people doing that
for like
£5,
yeah,
for £3, for £6, just so people can have the opportunity to get these products, to get the villagers, to get the items for an affordable price in the UK. Now, to me, that I would rather get them than the official Nintendo pack from someone online for £30.
Do you know what? I almost feel like
I'd never have said that before.
I would rather people at this point went out and just ordered them themselves. You know, like the ones that are made to order.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, you know, there's some out there that people do genuinely put work into because they care about the community, and at this point, I feel like they've put more work in to deserve that money than Nintendo have.
Yeah, and realistically, the time they'd spent doing it, testing it, it is genuine work, and, you know, and I'm sure some of them, if they could give them for free, they probably would, but that isn't realistic. So they're just giving everyone a chance. And I like that a lot. I like how the community does that. It's just, I never thought I'd see the day where that would be necessary. Because it's like, okay, Nintendo are selling, you know, 5 Amiibo card packs for £12. Why are you making fake amiibo, buttons or templates?
So yeah, I've always been against the fake ones.
To me, that's bad.
Until now.
But now that it's the only option that's affordable, it's like, yeah, go for it. It's the only way. And it's affordable. That's the thing. It's affordable.
It is. So guys, like we said, let us know what your position with this is in the comments. Let us know, the favourite Sanrio villager, the items. We just love hearing from you guys in the comments. JB is amazing at making sure we get back to every single one of you. So please let us know how this is turning out for you down below. Again, thank you so much to all the community that has helped us get access to all these things despite not being able to get those Amiibo cards. This really is a fantastic community and we are so, so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it and again comment below to let us know what you're thinking. Subscribe to the channel to let us know what type of content you'd like to see next. We do variety content including Animal Crossing, Mario and so much more. So guys, for all that goodness, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe.
JB and Millie.